I think the influx of AI into the industry is really putting an emphasis back on the fundamentals. And I think with so much changing so rapidly, what is important for all of us in marketing and advertising is just focus on quality inputs and quality outputs. And so when I think of that, it's the quality and the integrity of the data that's going into these models, and it is the ability to trust what we're finding from an insight on the way out, which comes down to, do we have a really strong measurement framework in place to really evaluate if what we're seeing is something we can believe.
As brands work with more partners, platforms, and AI tools, how do you help clients choose the right partners?
Yeah, it still comes down to really going back to what we were saying moments ago, quality over quantity. And can you truly understand the provenance of the data, the authentic consumer relationship between a company, and really the lineage of what's kind of going into all these processes, because a lot of it is increasingly a little bit black box. And so if you can really understand in a transparent way what is going in and what is how a partner comes by data, do they have an authentic relationship with the consumer? Those are the kind of things that are really important in selection of partners and channels and everything you might work with.
Ted, let's touch on measurement a little bit further. Obviously, with AI being pretty much fully adopted across the industry, measurement is both kind of made easier, but also still even more newer challenges.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, in an AI-driven environment where marketers need to move from insight to action much faster, what does effective measurement look like right now?
Yeah, I think increasingly, again, with sort of the speed of what's changing in the industry with AI, what's really important is just running lots of experiments. And so the best forms of measurement are experimental by design, and that's how we can really understand what is working and what's not working. And so when you think about experimental forms of measurement, it comes down to the design and the integrity. Are you taking a really consistent, rigorous approach across all the experiments that you're running? And I think if you set that up at design time, and there's lots of experiments running in parallel and you're getting results really fast, that will create conditions where you can actually trust the results that you're seeing and then make decisions based on that. So otherwise, I think we run the risk of really not having confidence in the output that we're getting. And so it's really important to just sort of focus on high integrity of design of the experiment and consistency in the implementation. From there, it's run as many experiments as possible.
So Ted, you spoke about the importance of experimentation, and the flip side of that is you need to have some guardrails in order that the experimentation and the AI tools don't go off the rails.
Yep.
So with that in mind, what kind of guardrails need to be in place so that AI can use data responsibly and produce outputs marketers can actually trust and have confidence in?
Yeah. So I think this is why we constantly hear about putting a human in the loop and having the right people still weighing in with judgment and context around what's coming out of some of these now AI-powered processes, so that they can effectively weigh in on, is something correct or incorrect, something that we are comfortable putting investment behind or not. And so brand safety guidelines, all these kinds of critical inputs that will constrain appropriately sort of the process that we're implementing are critical to kind of keeping these programs on the aimed at the target for any kind of brand. And then I would add, just again going back to the inputs, it is, as we were saying before, it's the quality of the input around governance of data, privacy, security, governance. These are things that we've been focused on for a really long time. They're even more important in terms of ensuring that we can trust the process that's running now with AI.
Ted, AI advances are, as I mentioned, moving so rapidly right now, so quickly. What foundational capabilities should marketers invest in now to stay adaptable without rebuilding their stack every year and every year after that?
Yeah, listen, companies could find themselves rebuilding their stack with every new capability that comes into the market. And so the reality is most companies can't operate that way. And so this is why sort of investing in those fundamentals is so important. So I think it comes down to both, again, the data and then I would say the people. So the data itself, it's do you have that quality foundational layer where you've maintained sort of gold copies of data, it's governed, it's secure, but it's also interoperable and compatible with all the new kinds of capabilities you might be sitting on top and all the new ways you might find yourself trying to consume that data. I think investing in that sort of core horizontal data foundation is the thing that actually unlocks all the experimentation on top. And then I think it's not as much an element of the stack, but continuing to sort of develop people who have a lot of different skill sets and the mindset to go run these kinds of structured experiments and programs and really kind of develop a team that can be sort of the stewards of these new ways of working will ensure that the business can kind of evolve and still kind of meet its goals along the way. And so I think kind of the data foundation and then the people foundation are the two critical pieces that most of our customers are looking at. That's how we're investing in our own business.